Hello and welcome. My name is Crowe, and today we're going to investigate a new tarot deck. This is the Inbetween Tarot deck, created by, I think it's Janine, Worthington and Franco Rivolli. So this deck is quite interesting because it is based on the Rider-Waite, which we've been using so far on this channel. Even the old cat deck there is Rider-Waite. This deck, however, is where we're going to start looking into other interpretations of divination cards. This is a good bridge, I think. It uses a lot of the same symbology, and we have the linking between the cards. So with tarot and oracle cards in general, the whole idea is that you have one consciousness, and the cards are refractions of this consciousness. So imagine you have white light, and you hold a prism up to the white light, and it is refracted into all the different colors of light. In the same way, these cards are the refractions of the one consciousness, and we are using the refractions to better understand the whole. And these cards are all about linking with each other. There is this cyclical nature. We can see the Ouroboros. You've probably become aware of this symbol in the past. We've got the snake eating its own tail. Very important symbol in psychology, alchemy, a lot of different philosophies. Ouroboros, this symbol of infinity, this circle, this oneness. There is no edge, there is no point. There really is no beginning or end. And that is the nature of mind. Mind does not begin and it does not end, which is very difficult to comprehend as a human being because we are temporal. We have a beginning and an end, of course. And yet, it all gets a little bit muddy at the higher levels of consciousness. And so let's start investigating it. That's the best way to approach any problem. Just begin. So with this deck, we are going to just do a general reading, I think, for the week. Still a little bit sticky. I need to play with these a little bit more, I think. Now, let's begin with just an idea of what to be aware of this week. I think let's listen to what advice has been given. So we've got the past here. And then we're going to have the present. And then, of course, the future. Now, that's interesting. That's flipped face up straight away. So we're actually going to begin with the future, I think. I think this comes back to the Ouroboros nature of this deck, this cyclical fashion. So we're going to start with the Nine of Cups, it seems. Very different from the Nine of Cups we're normally aware of. So we've got this tribal setting here. I want to say potentially somewhere in Africa. We've got some mud huts with straw roofs. And we have a masculine and a feminine figure wearing pink clothing. And then there is I want to say quite a feminine figure here in the front. And she's carrying a basket full of blue stones, I want to say. So you've got this very interesting take on the cups here, because the basket is the cup and holding 9 things, as opposed to 9 specific cups. These cards flow into each other. So on one side, you've got the 9 of Cups written, and then the 10 of Cups on the other side. We've got quite a lovely... So it seems quite a dry environment. Or maybe just like a ploughed land. There's a single big cloud in the sky, and the sunlight shining down on the two figures as the lady in the front walks towards them. So just take in this image for a minute. So this is the future. So there is this approaching. I want to say she looks like she's returning. If she were a traveller, I would expect more travelling possessions, but she's very lightly dressed in just a simple tunic, and she's approaching the hamlet. Could be bigger, could be a village, or just a little bit of a homestead, really. So I've got this family nature, this returning to family, this returning to community. Cups, of course, being this emotional plane, emotional level of mind. So how are these emotions that she's carrying? Are they emotions of joy, of pleasure, of celebration? I would say so. These two figures she's approaching. One of them, the feminine-looking one, is holding her hands up. If you've ever played the Dark Souls series by Miyazaki, there is a posture called Praise the Sun, where you hold your arms up, just like that woman in the far back, if you can just about make that out. So we've got the Praise the Sun going on there. And the man looks to be arms wide as if waiting for an embrace. So they look to be celebrating her return. And the feminine figure, of course, aligning with the subconscious mind. We'll dig into that a little bit more as we come. So let's go back in time. Let's go back to the present moment. Well, this is interesting. So we've now got Judgment, number 20 of the Major Arcana. This is very different in design. So we've got this maybe Byzantine, maybe Arabian, potentially Greek or Mediterranean style of architecture with the domed roof of this potentially temple. You have the three rising from their coffins from the water as they always do, but they are gold in this image, raising up towards the light. No angel in the water. Reflections of the gold, both behind and in front. The water seems to be parted around the coffins. You've got the masculine, the feminine, and the child all appear to be nude. And they're rising up into the light here. So let's have a look. You can see them rising up. They're very spiritual in nature, aren't they? In front of this temple, this shrine maybe. Quite dark as well, the background. Ominous. Linking into the world on the far side in this one. So there's this parting of the water. The coffins clearly were submerged before this. So these states of being below the depths, rising up. I'm getting this impression of like a bell tolling. I can start to see how these two are linking together as well. This is a very interesting deck. Now, upside down as well. Interesting. Take note of that. We don't generally do upside down cards yet on this channel. They are one way of reading cards. I did them for a time, but They can be useful to sort of direct you towards which way the energy is flowing. Each card has an up and a down placement, and depending on the placement changes the meaning significantly. But if you draw all your cards face up, those meanings are mingled, and so strangely enough that can sound as if it's making the interpretation harder to read, but it's sort of less limiting in a way. Both are perfectly good ways to do things, but the fact that this has come face down is of relevance, we will get into. So we've got another major arcana card here. We've got the wheel. So this would be number 10, so the Wheel of Fortune normally, but just the wheel on this one. And, very interesting, I can't even see a wheel on the picture. Instead, we have a statue of a woman. Looks to be Greek or Roman in appearance. She's holding a sword up, and in the sword there is a reflection. It appears that she is buried in the desert. There is a road leading down to her scales, which she's still holding, made of metal, sitting on the desert. And in her sword, from the reflection of the sun behind, you can see this shadow. So this appears to be someone standing on the edge of a dune looking down. So this card is linking into the Justice card here, and we can see the Justice card coming through the sands. So the wheel is, while not pictured, suggested instead. The energy of the wheel in the motion of the sand and the dunes, in the turning of the desert, in the unearthing of what is to come. How that perfectly fits into the other two is quite amazing. This is a very interesting deck. So let's have a look here. So we've got this Justice buried in the earth, and with the turning of the wheel, the rising of the Judgment. Rising into the light, and then there is this returning home. Then the path is leading from the scales, I notice. So has the figure on the hill walked away or walked towards the scales? It feels as if something is being left behind. We are leaving behind an old judgment. It's interesting I always find it interesting with the Justice and the Judgment card. Justice feels like she's passing judgment, and Judgment feels like justice is being enacted. There is this old state of consciousness that is being left behind. The scales are balanced in the desert, and the figure has left behind this old state. And this is being shown in the rising, in the Judgment card, rising from an old, dead state of consciousness into the light. So with this light, let's take away any sort of religious symbology and just look at the practical science aspects of light for a moment. Without the light, the world is dark. Nothing is seen. And in the background here, we can see the world is dark. You can barely make out some tall structures maybe. And what is light but awareness? Awareness of a state. I've got these states coming through here, being resurrected, being brought to life through awareness of them. Golden as well. Golden states. So these are ideal states, perfect states, desired states of the higher mind. And then she comes back. She's coming back to the community with a basket full. Her cup is full, almost to the brim if it's 9 of Cups. In the 10 of Cups normally, you have this celebration going on. So it's almost like the step before the celebration is to occur. What's coming through in this message for you today, I would say, is there's this old state, this old, maybe it's been there for quite some time, this old justice, these rules, these convictions, these beliefs. But the wheel turns and the desert has claimed them. No more are they important in your life. You can leave them behind to be buried in the desert. But instead, what is rising up is what you pay your attention to. What is it you desire? You merely have to become aware of it in consciousness. Become aware of it in mind. It does not matter what it is. We've got 3 different types of desire here. 2 adults and a child. All the different flavors of expression. All the different types of human it can be. It can be anything you want. There is no limitation here. Something maybe that you've buried deep inside your heart, deep underneath the waters, that you haven't thought for a long time was possible to resurrect. And yet now is the time. The bell is tolling, the light is here. Bring it into actualization. And we come back to these cups. The light is now shining on the community, on this celebration. I feel like she has been successful in gathering what she intended to, gathering the emotions, gathering the resonance. This week, let what is old die and be buried in the desert. Bring your awareness onto the desire. And look how easy it is in this picture. So the light, merely just by being, is drawing them up. You don't need to struggle or strain or try or put any effort into awareness. Awareness is the light. Where are you directing it? The only thing you must do is make the light consistent. Keep it fixed on the direction that you desire. What do you want to bring back to life? And look at here, we've got the light now streaming onto the community, onto this bliss, onto this wonderful celebration. I think they're about to celebrate her homecoming. Celebrate the love of this experience. So something really lovely is coming your way. Keep your attention on it. Let it come back. Let it return. Let the feelings bubble up within you. Let the emotional resonance play out. It is not fanciful imagination. It is imagination, but not Imagination is a level of mind. It is not unreal. Imagination is the blueprint for the final thing to be constructed. But it requires feeling that it is so. Where the state of consciousness. I imagine that basket has quite heft to it. Substance. And I think this is the final message to take away today. Let the feelings be weighty within you. Let them feel substantial. Carry them with you. Carry the feelings of success, of it being now. Because it is now. You merely have to put your attention on it, and it is now. And it comes into its season in the physical world in its own time. So just enjoy it within before it's expressed without. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. We'll come back to this deck in the future. I think it has some particular messages to share which the other decks don't. But thank you very much for being here. If you've got any questions or any cards you'd like me to read, please leave a comment down below. If you like a private reading, you can find the link to that in the description. Take care, and I'll see you next time.